I'm a virologist who uses systems biology to answer questions that ordinarily would not be answered by traditional approaches. The most humbling experience is the complexity of biology, the complexity of how viruses work. So in my laboratory, we study probably a dozen different viruses, mainly RNA viruses, because we study the host response to viruses in general, more so than the virus itself. So I think at the moment, we're focusing mainly on Ebola and influenza, HIV/AIDS. You develop data like omics data, proteomics data, RNA sequencing data, DNA sequencing data. You then work with bioinformatics specialists and computational biologists. You make predictions about what you learned, what might cause the disease. In that case, you make predictions and then you go through another process testing those predictions. So it's a circular process that ultimately will lead you to an integrated knowledge of what causes disease, or in our case, how viruses kill. So one question that we're often asked is, what are you going to do with all the data? What do these gene lists mean? How is this going to help human health? So there are now algorithms, there are now databases, there's computational tools to go directly from gene expression data to drug development. We now have the capability, and in fact we've published on that, to take our gene expression data, use the algorithms that people have developed, and predict FDA drugs which would have an impact on virus replication. So we've gone from a gene expression profile, let's say using RNA-seq, to an FDA database and said drug X might have an effect on replication. And we test it, and sometimes it does. And what that enables you to do is bypass the onerous and incredibly expensive process of drug development. So instead of it taking 10 years and billions of dollars, you could literally in a few weeks make predictions about what drugs you should test. And the really great thing about that is that these are already FDA approved. It is definitely time for people to adopt RNA-seq technologies. NIH, Department of Defense, National Science Foundation, Gates Foundation, all these foundations are going in the same direction. And that's applying knowledge in a translational way, applying your knowledge so that will lead to improving human health and reorienting the investigators towards the more systems biology approaches. When you look at this Ebola outbreak, or you look at the AIDS outbreak, and you have friends or colleagues who have died, you can't help but being personally engaged. And one of the things that really gets me out of bed in the morning is the hope that we could make a difference and that we could contribute to better drugs against AIDS, or we have a big program studying Ebola in mice. So our goal, and the goal of everybody in the lab, is to be dedicated to improving human health.